Hey, what's up, super kids? I have some new comic book reviews. This is a new episode of the Pull List for this week, and it's brought to you by my own books, DeVita and Red Knight. Check out the links below for you to order to buy the comics and books. They're good. I like them. I made them. But here's some comics I didn't make that I think are pretty good. Let's start off with Faith, #1. And it's from Valiant. I haven't bought a Valiant book since they came out with this new reboot 2 years ago with Exo Manowar and a couple other things. I just could not stretch my budget, and that's just how it went, and I had to make a sacrifice, and Valiant, unfortunately, was the where. I'd been hearing some good stuff about this book, Faith, this character in particular, so I decided to pick up the first issue, and it is by Jody Hauser and Francis Porlet-Lida, and it's a really good, solid first issue. I get the feeling from reading it that she is a spin-off character from another book. I am at no point lost as far as who she is and where she is placed at this point in her life. So very good. I don't have to buy everything that she's in to kind of get it, so good work. It starts off with a pre-credit sequence here with two characters running away, being chased by someone. We later find out that they have certain kind of abilities, and they're being harvested in prison and stuff like that. Let's see, Faith is kind of left on her own, and looking out for Los Angeles, trying to make it in the big old superhero world, even taking a secret identity, and putting on a wig and glasses, and going by the name of Summer Smith. I'm sure not suspicious at all. And stuffing that big blonde hair of hers deep into that small Agent Scully wig. Anyway, she is a nerd and a geek and a dork, and she has fantasies about being a super cool hero in a cool 2-page fantasy spread. And her apartment tends to have like cool little knickknacks sitting around, like Godzillas and spaceships and other cool fantasy stuff. Let's see, we get to see her daily life. She has a job at Zipline, where she basically... it's her job to write all those crappy clickbait articles about, hey, here's 24 guys named Chris who would be good for a superhero part. Like, oh god, let me just look at my article I want to look at. Yeah, someone has to write those, and that's her job. And she works at this website. We get to meet a bunch of supporting characters here. Some of which are fine with the lifestyle. One guy who is the pop culture guy actually hates pop culture, which is kind of funny. Like, that's a shit job for you, I guess. Anyway, she is trying to figure out like what exact superheroing she needs to do. First off, all she can do is find a group of dog nappers. They have a whole horde of these dogs. In a pretty funny sequence, actually. And a good use of her powers. I'm kind of getting the gist of her telekinetic powers, which she uses to fly and use defensively and offensively. I like this character quite a bit, and she's kind of just typically like trying to find her own in this world, and of course she stumbles upon the big conspiracy that kind of like started the issue, with a pretty decent cliffhanger. I'm loving the art. It's very pretty. The character of Faith herself is pretty endearing. I'm definitely going to pick up issue 2 and keep with this for a little while and see what's going on. Besides, I haven't gotten a Valiant book in a while, so okay, let's take a look. I'm going to give this 5 Ram Chips off the bat. Good first issue, and I'll keep reading. Now, let's go to Marvel here, and... let's jump to Daredevil, Daredevil #3. I just recently reviewed Daredevil #1. I can't find Daredevil #2. I'm still looking for it. Damn you #2s, you're always so hard to find. Just as elusive as Robert Denby. This issue is written by series writer Charles Soule and drawn by Ron Garney. And I'm going to talk about Ron Garney's art for a minute here. I absolutely love it. I've been a big fan of his since his days with Mark Waid and Captain America. And he, he's not, I don't know if he's always an A-lister. He occasionally, shows up in he has career highs and career lows. I always love his work. I think he's fantastic. And what he does is a minimal use of color, by the way, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think some people have been comparing this run so far with Frank Miller's run, which is always everybody's go-to with Daredevil. But frankly, this reminds me so far, the art style and Charles Soule's writing kind of reminds me of Anna Cini and John Romita Jr.'s run, actually. There are times artistically, John Romita Jr. also went minimal on the coloring to create a mood and an atmosphere, and that's what Ron Garney is doing here. Let's see, I had to jump an issue, so essentially he cornered this new villain, Ten Fingers, and realizes Ten Fingers had stole some ninja magic from the Hand, which apparently is probably a bad idea since these guys are the most evil ninja clan of all. So that's when they come in, and there's a battle that ensues. Fortunately, they were able to chase off the Hand, but Daredevil and Ten Fingers still have to deal with each other. Ten Fingers is kind of like this kind of like criminal devil-like kind of character himself, plotting and planning and scheming and dealing well with people. Meanwhile, we get to see more of Daredevil and Blind Spot. Blind Spot's a fairly new hero, and he is Matt Murdock is kind of beginning to feel like he's getting it and becoming a better pupil, frankly. You know, it's really interesting. Charles Soule's Daredevil, at least where Matt Murdock is right now, he seems more Batman-ish than I've seen him. He's taken on a partner. He's been more proactive about crime fighting, including even in his civilian life as Matt Murdock. He's actually become a prosecutor rather than a defense attorney. And it's really good. It's not as good as Mark Waid's run, although that was a brilliant run, and that's a defining run. So it's really hard to back that up. But I've been enjoying this a lot. This is 4 RAM chips, a good strong 4 RAM chips. Especially if you're digging Daredevil, check it out. I'm going to go with 2 issues of the Avengers, all new, all different Avengers. And let's first talk about issue 3, which is the last issue of the first story arc. Which brings us to Warbringer and his battle with the Avengers. Let's see, this is, of course, Mark Waid and Adam Kubrick. The battle comes to a dramatic conclusion. We see Warbringer's plans to use these artifacts to bring a whole army of Chitauri, like the Avengers movie, in to attack the world. But of course, our team gets together and is able to stop him. This is interesting. Now that I've seen the first 3 issues and the story arc, it almost feels like Mark Waid is doing a symbolic remake of the original Avengers story, where in that this alien to our world, Loki, is a menace to the world, brings together the Avengers characters. And this one also features an alien coming to our world as a menace and accidentally brings together the Avengers. Actually, in the original one, Loki's plan was to bring the Avengers together so he could destroy them all at once. Not a great plan, as Tony Stark might say. This one, Warbringer didn't mean for that to happen. It just kind of happened as he was on his way to collect these things. I really, really love this group, actually. I like the fact that it's a nice mixture of old school guys, of Iron Man, Vision, and Captain America, who is Sam Wilson, with newcomers. Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, the new Nova, and the new Thor, although she's kind of a good mix because she's an old character that's been around, but she hasn't really been on the front lines as a superhero. So, actually, I think it's pretty well balanced. Unfortunately, Kubrick stops with the art here, and we move on to a new artist, still with Mark Waid writing, and this is Mahmoud Assar. And his work is actually really good, too. So it's not that big of a step down. And let's see, this issue starts with Jarvis, who is back, and Tony wants him to get back into action, helping out the Avengers. The Avengers are now very much kind of like they were originally, actually, which goes to probably a good idea of why Mark Waid used that kind of motif from the first one, because the Avengers are pretty much where they were originally. They're not the big guns anymore. They don't have all this equipment and money and funding. They're all kind of like, bargain basement. And Jarvis seems really bitchy about something. Maybe I need to read the Iron Man book, but he kind of seems over it, frankly. Like, he said, "Oh, thank God I was brought here to make you microwave popcorn." And it's like, is it that time of the month, Jarvis? What's your deal? I'm sure we'll find out as we go. But yeah, he's kind of, I think he's one step out the door. But we get into this character Cyclone, who is brought in. He's attacking the Jersey. Is it Atlantic City or Jersey Shore? Anyway, he is attacking. Of course, he brings the Avengers. They kick his ass in a really cool action sequence, giving everybody a chance to fight. I'm digging watching Miss Marvel and Miles Morales Spider-Man work together. And I just never get enough of her making her giant fists to punch people. The battle ends. Apparently he was hired to do that, and we don't really get an answer as who, so I suppose that is a mystery for another issue. And Thor starts talking about, how you have to live for today, and just kisses Captain America, just like, you taste like a Captain America to me. And he's going, thanks, nice, okay. Let me just use my shield to hide my boner there. And she just flies off, mentioning that, you have to, what's her quote exactly here? Always act on impulses, Sam Wilson. Life's candle burns too briefly not to live in the moment. Which makes the Vision and Iron Man wonder, why would someone immortal say that? So I'm not reading the Jane Thor, but I get the feeling that the other people don't know who she is. So she has a secret identity right now. Very cool, very good writing. I enjoyed this one a lot. I'm really happy with this Avengers book. I'm going to give this 5 RAM chips, as well as issue 3. Digging this team, digging the story that Mark Waid is building, and I can't wait to read more. I'm just a Mark Waid fan. Alright, now we're done with Marvel, and I'm going to go to LumberJanes, issues 17 and 18. Like I said, I took a few months off from comics, so I'm kind of catching up, and there's quite a few issues of LumberJanes that came out over the last few months. And let me just quickly go through here. Issue 17 of LumberJanes is the final part of a story arc, where Rosie and her old friend Abby are in battle. Abby has gotten into her head that she needs to kill this giant evil beast. Actually, not. She thinks it's evil, but it just wants to hibernate forever at this mountain. But she comes to attack it because she thinks it's a danger. And she just becomes like really obsessed, Captain Ahab type of obsession to destroy it. While Rosie and the LumberJanes try to stop her. And they kind of don't, and it's about to attack. That's when the LumberJanes come with jewels. All this jewels that they took out of Abby's cabin that she had been kind of collecting and immersing as she's been on her quest to take out all these other beasts. And they read in her journals that this monster is easily taken in by jewels, and we'll deal and we'll show mercy if you show him jewels. And yeah, it's funny. He says, "Foolish humans, do you really think I could be bribed with such treasures?" And Jane says, "Perhaps 10 minutes of research wasn't necessarily sufficient for bargaining with an ancient deity." But fortunately, one of the jewels they pulled was something that came out of his chest. The issue ends with Abby surviving that battle. I don't know how, because it looks like she was like really murdered, but thankfully she survived. I really fell in love with Rosie in this story arc. There's a touching scene. There's some touching flashbacks of them as kids, and you get the feeling that they have been friends all this time. And a quick page right here indicates they're more than just friends. And it's a quick, touching Rebecca Sugar-ish kind of moment, and it really adds a lot of weight to these scenes where Rosie is trying to stop her from getting killed. Really awesome stuff. 5 RAM chips. And this is my last thing. This is issue 18 of LumberJanes. This starts a new story arc with mermaids, and this one's written by Shannon Waters and Kat Lith, and it's illustrated by somebody different. It's Caroline Novak, and the art style's a little bit different, a little bit more cartoony, and it basically deals with the LumberJanes encountering while fishing mermaids, or as one of them prefers to be called, a mer-woman spelled with a Y. She was part of a rock band that broke up, and April, who comes off. There have been some comparisons of this book to Gravity Falls, and April has been sometimes compared to Mabel, and she's very Mabel-ish in this issue, where she meets the mermaid for the first time, and she just goes into this place and just freaks out because she always wanted to see mermaids. So she becomes obsessed with helping her. And the old band that she used to be part of, she felt like they were selling out, and she quit, and now they're kind of feuding, so she becomes obsessed with helping them. And of course, they also meet a terrifying sea monster. The expressions in this art is absolutely hilarious. I really enjoyed this issue. This is the first part of I don't know how long the story arc is for a couple of issues, but at the end, April swears to bring the band back together. Awesome issue, very funny. Kind of a lighter one than the last 3-issue story arc, which was a little darker and more intense. This one was a lot of fun. I'm going to give this one 5 RAM chips as well. The art and writing is hilarious in this one. I think that's it for now, so until next time, push the button, Lindsay.